Welcome back to Rare with Photos, and welcome back to my hat. um, Somebody just said, hey, looking forward to hearing more about June. So thank you to those who have subscribed to me in 2024 and 2023. And so far this year as well. I think we had 35 new subscribers yesterday, so welcome. I know not all of you have YouTube accounts that you can comment from, or that you just choose not to. That's okay. But if you want to, love to hear from you. Thank you for those that have thrown some super thanks lately my way. It does help me buy other books, although I'm still busy reading these books, right? So, greatly appreciate it. Looking forward to bringing some of the subscribers in the new subscriber series on here. There's quite a few of you that messaged me, so I will do my best to schedule you and bring you in and continue the series with Derry Matera, Billy Stanley, Michael Peterson, Ronnie McDowell, and others. All right. So where we stopped off on this book, Gladys had said, hey, I hate to disturb you to you. I haven't heard this much laughter in a long time. Go wash your little faces and come get some breakfast. That's pretty much, and then Elvis showed his little cut lip when they were wrestling around, kissing, making out, and I guess they butted heads. And then talked about how Elvis liked to eat his bacon pretty much burnt, and that his eggs were fried hard as a brick. Alberta had prepared everything but the biscuits. Okay, they were Mrs. Presley's specialty. They were fluffy and delicious, the best biscuits I'd ever tasted, and I told her so. You see, Mama, I told you, you make the best biscuits in the whole world, Elvis said proudly. Well, I've had lots of practice, she said graciously, accepting the compliments. Now, when we finished eating, Elvis took his plate and mine and brought them to the sink. I started gathering the rest of the dirty dishes, but Mrs. Presley stopped me. Leave it, June. You two kids go play. We'll take care of the dishes. So Elvis and I went out into the backyard and walked around to the unfinished rectangular swimming pool. About 10 inches of rainwater had collected in the deep end. Well, we sat on the edge of the pool, and he started talking about his family and all the changes taking place in their lives. And his life, too. June, you can't imagine how good it feels to be able to give them all of this. Mama, bless your heart, still thinks this is all too good to be true. It's like a dream to her. She's afraid she'll wake up one morning and we'll be poor again. I'm not going to let that happen, June. I've got to make it for my mama. She worked hard all her life to take care of me. Both of them have. And now, thank the good Lord, I'm going to make life easy for them. You're a good person, Elvis. Your mother's very proud of you, and rightfully so. She really likes you, June. When we were having breakfast, she looked at me, then at you, and then she looked back at me and winked. I know her, June. She don't have to say a word. She talks to me with her eyes. I like your mother, too. She's very down to earth, easy to talk to, and she's had me talking my head off this morning. She'll have you telling your whole life story if you don't watch out. I think I told most of it already, June said. My daddy is just the opposite. You don't have much to say until he gets to know you, and then he still don't have much to say. And then he laughed. Elvis talked jokingly about his father, but when he spoke of his mother, you could see that his eyes lit up. Sitting on the edge of the pool, his elbows resting on his knees, his smooth hands and long, slender fingers dangling limply, he would occasionally shake his wrist from side to side like a swimmer, standing on the diving board before a race. His eyes were fixed on a bug swimming frantically in circles in the rainwater at the bottom of the pool. Anxiously awaiting his important phone call, he was glancing at his watch every 15 minutes. His energy level was so high it was impossible for him to stay in one place for any length of a time. Well, I suggested we go back inside and listen to some music. I requested something by Elvis Presley, and he was more than happy to oblige. His first album, Elvis Presley, was the biggest selling album in RCA Victor's history. Well, they put the album on the hi-fi, and we made ourselves comfortable on the floor in front of the speakers. We both enjoyed the feel of the sumptuous carpet, something neither of us had known as children. Mr. Presley came in the den with a huge duffel bag filled with fan mail slung across his back, looking like Santa Claus. Yes, I said Santa Claus. Where do you want this, son? Do you want to read any of this, or do you want me to just stack it in the bag? Leave it here, Daddy. I'll get June to help me go through it in a while. Well, I was glad he said in a while. I was so content lying side by side on the floor with Elvis, listening to his album and looking into his eyes that I did not want to budge. When the song, I got a woman way across town, she's good to me, came on, he pulled me to his feet and put his left hand on my forehead, his right hand on my stomach, and played me like an upright bass. That's funny. He was doing this old number. I got a woman way across town, she's good to me. How funny. I remember being a trumpet player. Sometimes I would play the notes of a song, melody, when I was dancing with somebody at the school dances. You know, because I was used to playing trumpet all the time. So, interesting. All right, let's see here. It was one of the cutest things he ever did. And he did it often. I knew to be standing on my feet and ready every time this song with a good bass come on. Bill Black should have a bass like you, June. You never need tuning. Black was Elvis's bass player. Just don't think you can strap me on top of the car, Elvis, June said. There's some things I won't let you get away with. Now, after hearing both sides of the album, he put on the album he played the most. It was an album by the Platters, oh yeah, with two of my all-time favorites, Only You and My Prayer. You know, Elvis had a great falsetto. Remember Blue Moon? How he sang the falsetto, the real high falsetto? I mean, Only You's got that. Only You. When the music stopped, Elvis picked up the duffel bag and dumped the contents on the floor. He had recently hired a secretary to read the mail and to reply to requests for autographed pictures. But when he had time, he enjoyed reading it himself. My fans are very important to me, June. Without them, I'd still be driving a truck. Geez, my knees, I've never seen so many letters. Do you get this much mail all the time? I asked in amazement. This is nothing, June. Most of the time, it's 2 or 3 bags. Want to help me read some? Well, I picked one at random. It was from an 18-year-old somewhere in Alabama. She wanted an autographed picture and enclosed one of herself in a bathing suit. I showed the picture to Elvis. Well, put that one on the side, June. I'll have to get the name and number of that one from my little black book. I knew he was teasing. I don't know, June. I don't know if he was teasing or not. Maybe he was. His little black book would have been so big, he'd have to hire a truck to carry it around. Where is your book? I'll make a list of all the good ones for you, I replied nonchalantly. You would too, wouldn't you, June? Sure, I wouldn't want to miss out on anything. I continued reading the letters. I started reading the next one out loud, making it up as I went along. Wow, listen to this one. My darling Elvis, I think I'm in love with you. I know you could love me too. I never miss a show. The next time you're in one of my southern states, look for me. I always wear a pink scarf around my neck. Please send me one of your sexy pictures. Love, Ralph. Let me see that, June. You gotta be kidding. He snatched the letter from my hand and laughed when he realized I'd made it up. A lot of the letters had been soaked in perfume. Their authors were not only trying to catch Elvis's eye with fancy little drawings on the envelope, they were trying to attract his nose as well. The combined odors of so many perfumes was making me nauseous, so I had to stop reading. Now, we put all the mail back in the duffel bag, and Elvis carried it into a room at the back of the house, where the bags and bags were all neatly stacked to the ceiling. Now, for lunch, Mrs. Presley had prepared a traditional country-style meal. We had the field peas that were shelled earlier that morning, with mashed potatoes, cornbread made from scratch, of course, and the most delicious fried chicken I had ever put in my mouth. She was flattered when I told her that it was better than my mother's fried chicken, and my mother's fried chicken was to die for. She gave all the credit to the new electric deep fryer Elvis had bought for her recently. It uses a lot of grease, June, but if you strain it real good afterwards and keep it in the icebox, you can use it over and over again. Now, Elvis was a millionaire, or close to being one, and bless her soul, she was still trying to be thrifty. Well, whoops, that was probably Gladys that told June that, not Elvis. But I guess if Gladys sounded like Elvis, that's what it would sound like. By 4 o'clock in the afternoon, Elvis realized his important phone call wasn't coming. He stormed into the den where Mr. Presley was stretched out on the couch watching television. I'll go call him on the phone, Daddy, and tell him if it's not ready by tomorrow, they can just forget the whole deal. Be patient, son, be patient. It'll be ready tomorrow. It took a while, but he finally calmed down and quit fidgeting. Skipping supper that night, we went to the amusement park, rode every ride available, and played every game. The baseball throw was our last game. Now, Elvis was saving the best for last. He positioned me on his left side, next to the counter. Stand here, baby, and bring me luck. Pick out which one of the stuffed animals that you want. Now, I tried the baseball throw myself a few times, and it was not easy. Not only did you have to knock the heavy milk bottles down, they had to be knocked down completely off the stand. Well, after a few warm-up throws, he started to cut loose and let fly. Which reminds me, I'm going to show a couple pictures of Elvis Presley throwing, pitching. Can't remember where this came from. It came somewhere off of Facebook. Maybe Luxembourg. There's a great Facebook page that's, I think it might be the Elvis Fans of Luxembourg or something like that. If I can find it, I'll send a screenshot. They have a lot of great stuff that they put out online. And of course, that's where I get all my stuff. I get my stuff all over the place. Sometimes people get sore thinking, oh, I should give them credit for it. But sometimes I go to Google, pull off pictures. Sometimes it's Facebook, I pull off pictures. You know, sometimes it's, well, those are usually the only two sites that I really look. Or search engines, Bing, sometimes Yahoo. But really, I mean, Elvis belongs to everybody. People like to claim that it belongs to them if they find a document or something like that. Public property, and you can pull it up in public searches. It belongs to everybody. So anyways, those are the pictures that you're about to see or you've just seen. I'm not sure where I'm going to put it, but very cool. And I knew that Elvis, you know, it shows him with the catcher's glove in Germany playing softball. We know he loved football. We know he loved all different sports. But apparently he liked throwing the baseball. We saw in the movie Loving You, same scene set up. June's talking about it, but it's in that movie. I feel like Dolores Hart was on his right though, and Elvis was throwing. But Dolores Hart could be on the left too. So this could be the exact same scene that she's saying that Elvis did with her. Stand here, baby, and bring me luck. Pick out which one of those stuffed animals you want. Well, I tried the baseball throw myself a few times, and it was not easy. Not only did you have to knock the heavy milk bottles down, they had to be knocked completely off the stand. Well, after a few warm-up throws, he started to cut loose and let fly. Two other guys were throwing at the same time, but when Elvis started clearing out the bottles, they stopped throwing and started watching in amazement. This was definitely his game. Everyone was cheering, me the loudest. He was so sure of himself he would wind up, give me a wink, and let it fly. Within a few minutes, he had scored enough points to win the animal of my choice. Now, I didn't have any problem making up my mind. The shelves were full of teddy bears of all shapes, sizes, and colors, but the one that caught my eye was a big black and white panda bear, the only one of its kind. Well, we toyed with several names for the panda, all beginning with the letter P. Jesting, I suggested we call the panda Pelvis. Why not, he said in his favorite drawl. This little fella from this day forward shall be known as Pelvis. Elvis took the panda by one paw, and I took the other. We walked back to the car with Pelvis swinging between us and Elvis singing a song. Oh, just my baby and me, and Pelvis makes three. We're happy in my blue heaven. Something like that. We pulled into the drive-in restaurant, ordered 2 Cokes, and an order of large fries. He would put one fry halfway in his mouth, and I would bite off the other half, she says. Every fry was a salty kiss. Now, ours was the only car left in the parking lot when the car hop came to remove our tray. The lot was in total darkness before Elvis had a chance to even start the car. You think you're trying to tell us something, June? He drove back slowly to the Holiday Inn, kissed me and the panda on my forehead, kissed me and the panda on the forehead, and he told us both to get a good night's sleep. I'll call you tomorrow morning, baby. I had a great time. I just wish these days were longer. Well, I'd like to have a whole year of days like this, I said, wishing that they would never end. Me too, baby. Me too. Well, that brings to close that little section there. Interestingly enough, this book was written in 1997. I like to kind of throw out when books were written. 1997, Elvis and Kathy, 1987. This is more of a recent book. Are You Lonesome Tonight, the book that we've been reading a lot, was written in 1987, 10 years before this. But interesting that there's a chapter called Are You Lonesome Tonight in this book coming up that we'll read next time. Don't know what's in it, haven't read this book before, but I do love June Juanito. I love who she was and her story of her and Elvis. So I'm glad y'all have asked me to read the book, and I did buy it so we could do it. So TCB TLC, hope you have a wonderful day. Till next time.